Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. So, I wanted to do a leadership talk this morning instead of this evening. So, I'm trying something new just based on my schedule. Hi, everyone. My name is Siobhan Annette, and I am the Fire Leadership Coach. I have the beautiful opportunity of partnering with different individuals for them to maximize their potential and be the world changers that God has called and created them to be. I am the CEO and founder of Siobhan Annette LLC, as well as the founder of Power and Grace Leaders Inc., the nonprofit, as well as the movement. Hello everyone. I'm so excited just to be here to share with you all for a leadership talk today. And today, I'm going to talk about this concept of readiness and willingness. Readiness and willingness. One of the things that um, is so important for a leader is to have the right mindset. To have the right mindset. Our mindset definitely determines what we do or what we do not do, how we move or how we do not move. And Carol Dweck created the concept of a growth mindset. And I just got finished talking about this with a group coaching segment at my job. And so there was something that came out in the discussion that I thought was so good and so pertinent for me to share here in the Power and Grace Leaders movement, as well as on my YouTube channel. And so that is willingness versus readiness. And so we're going to talk about that from the perspective and the dynamic of leadership. And so one of the things that we know is that God has called us all to a realm of influence. So each and every one of us has a realm of influence, whether it's just with family, whether it's with family and community, whether it's with family, community, and so many other places. The key is that each and every one of us have an opportunity to really lead and make impact and make change in the world. But we have to recognize that we have that and we have to move on it. And so people are feeling the call to ministry. People are feeling the call to marketplace ministry. People are feeling the call to maybe coach, to build a business, to write a book, and things of that nature. And we find ourselves in this position where we're trying to navigate through what it actually looks like to do those things, and why is it sometimes difficult to do those things or maintain those things. And so this readiness versus willingness is what ended up coming to my mind for leaders in that regard. And so, willingness, what does willingness mean? Willingness means eager. Willingness means that I'm in agreement with. Willingness means I won't have to be coerced and I'm happy to join. And so, willingness, how we ended up describing it yesterday, is willingness has everything to do with my heart. Is my heart in what it is that I am being asked to do, what I am feeling called to do? Is my heart in the matter? Are you willing to do it? And then the other concept is readiness. Readiness is meaning that you are in a suitable state for an activity, action, or situation. You are fully prepared. So, readiness has a lot to do with a skill set. It has a lot to do with a skill set. And as we were talking a dialoguing about this, there were so many things that came up, and I just want to speak to some of those things. And hopefully, what I'm going to share today is going to be helpful for you. One thing that I believe is that sometimes God asks us to do something, calls us to something because He identifies us as ready through what he has walked us through what he has prepared us for. We have developed skills over time to really be able to step into this place, to be able to step into this moment, and to be able to step into this position. One of the newest things that I'm connected with as a leader ended up opening up for me. But the thing was, God told me that the door was going to open before the door actually opened. And I remember feeling scared because to me, I felt like I wasn't ready. right? I felt like maybe I didn't have what it took to be able to serve in this capacity and serve in this way. Lord, I'm good over here just doing this, that, and the third. And the Lord began to convict me and he began to tell me, no, you are ready and I've called you to this. And so God was saying I was ready to step into this role, to step into this position. But the problem was I wasn't willing. I wasn't eager, right? I wasn't in agreement with it. I wasn't happy about when the Lord first gave it to me. And for a moment, I felt bad about not being willing or eager or happy about it, but it was just where I was. It was me processing what the Lord was asking me to do. It was me processing what had come before me. And so I said, okay, God, I am willing. I am willing. And I remember a few months had passed and he said it again. And I sort of had the same response. And I was like, Lord, what's going on? But what I realized from the time he first told me and from the time he showed me again, my heart had continued to grow. My mindset has continued to change, but there was still some apprehension. There was still a little bit of fear and a little bit of doubt that was present. But I'm so glad that God was able to say, look, Siobhan, you are ready for this. You can do this. I have called you to this. And I said, okay, God, I am in full agreement. My answer is yes to what it is that you're telling me to do. And literally, not too long after the opportunity was presented to me, and I was able to give them a yes because I first gave God a yes. And so that's an example of readiness versus willingness. There was a skill set that I already had. There was a preparation that I had already gone through in my personal journey, on my personal walk that made me ready for what it is that God was calling me to do. So sometimes God is calling us to a thing and he says that we are ready to step into it, right? But then we have this other dynamic where we are willing to do something for God. We are eager, we are happy. We will say yes to what he's telling us to do. But then there's this issue of readiness, right? Readiness. Do I have the skill set? Do I have the action, or am I fully prepared for what it is that God is telling me to do? And sometimes that looks like what we just shared, what I shared in the group today, which was creating an environment and getting around an environment so that your skill set can be built in an area, right? So God calls you to do something, you're willing to do it, but he's saying there's still some development in you that's going to happen. There's still some development in you before you fully operate, function, and flow in this, or you're going to need to move, and I'm going to grow you and build you as you go. You're going to learn on the job. You all, sometimes there is on the job training that although you are the one for the job, there's still some further development that is needed and necessary for your understanding, for your comprehension, for your ability to do the job well. And so we have to understand this concept of willingness and readiness. And you have to ask the Lord for the things that he's calling you to do. God, is this a place where there is more willingness that's there, but there still needs to be some readiness? There needs to be some development and being okay with where you are. Where, Lord, okay, you say that I'm ready, but it's clear that I'm not quite willing just yet. And I'm allowing the fear, the doubt, I'm allowing all of these things to really uh, control my attitude towards it, control my thought process towards it. And so as leaders, we need to think about, we need to consider this. Am I ready? or am I willing, right? Am I at the place where I'm doing both? I'm both ready and willing. And the beautiful thing with God and the things that God calls us to, that He's always going to be growing us, He's always going to be developing us. So even in places where you do have the skill set, God is still going to develop you even further, because your skill set needs to grow, right? So your readiness and your preparation just gets sharper. It just gets refined, right? And then your willingness, you can be willing, but Lord, continue to give me the passion and the drive and the motivation to stay willing, to maintain my willingness, to maintain my eager and my zeal to do what you've called me to do, to maintain my disposition of God. It is a privilege and an honor to serve you in this way, to serve you in this capacity. And so we need to be both ready and willing as leaders. And we can't allow either one of these things to stop us. If we feel like we're not ready, how do we get the skills to get prepared? How do we get the skills to develop, to be ready to launch, to be ready to do the new thing that God is calling us to do? And willingness, God, what is it in my history? What is it in my experiences that's causing me to not be willing to engage in the things that you're telling me that I'm called to do, that I'm purposed to do, that I've been born to do? Lord, give me the ability to unpack that. Give me the ability to address that so that I can deal with the root issue that's telling me why I shouldn't move in this way or move in that way. So I hope that this has been helpful for you today, in regards to a quick leadership talk about readiness versus willingness. And so for us on Wednesdays, when we're doing leadership talks, they're likely going to be Wednesday mornings rather than Wednesday evenings. So we'll keep Bible study in the evening and we'll keep Wednesdays as morning talks concerning leadership. But I want you all to think about that and to consider that today in regards to being a leader. In what areas do you feel ready? You feel prepared. So you just need to show up in that way. And you need to be willing to engage. And what areas are you struggling to be willing to do the things that God says I've called you to do? And you are actually ready, but your willingness is hindering you. It's causing you to self-sabotage. It's causing you to shrink back when you should be showing up in your power and in your greatness. And so we have to take the time to consider that. And with that being said, it really speaks to the mentorship program that I'm offering right now. The mentorship program, what we're doing, we're talking about different things. We're engaging in things that's going to help individuals emerge to the next level and be everything that God has called and created them to be. The mentorship program is $20 a month. I'm creating a space where every Wednesday we are actually, so Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m., we are actually gathering together, and God is giving me lessons based on my experience, based on knowledge, and based on things that He put on my heart to really make available to individuals. And so I want you all to get signed up for this mentorship program. It creates an environment for you to grow, for you to flourish, for you to step into everything that God has called and created you to be. This is accessible. It is available to all women, to all women. I want you all to be able to get an environment where we're going to talk about where you are. We're going to be keeping you accountable to your goals. We're going to be encouraging you on your journey to being everything that God has called you to be. And that looks like dreaming again. It looks like dreaming and believing for the vision that God has for your life, that it can come to pass. It can come to pass. But if you're struggling with a readiness or you're struggling with a willingness, this is the perfect place for you to be able to unpack those things so that you are able to grow, develop, and be everything that God has called and created you to be in the earth, the world changer that He has called and created you to be. So let's get connected. Ladies, let's get connected. Don't miss out on this beautiful opportunity to grow together. All right? So I pray this encouraged you. And I'll see you all another Wednesday for a leadership talk. I'm sure it'll be another great one. See you soon. Bye, everyone.